Hi, this is Patricia Stepp with Your Dream Power, and I have a question for you. What are you waiting for? Look at the last few years of your life. If not much has changed, I guarantee you the next few years probably won't either. I'd like to tell you a story. I'd like to tell you my story so you get to know a little bit more about me. For quite a number of years, more than I care to mention, I taught school. And through teaching school, um, I started to realize that the children I had, my three kids, who aren't kids anymore, they're grown adults, but they achieved so much in their lives. And they were always looking for that next mark. What can I do next? And yeah, I looked at the children that I taught and I'm like, they have every bit as much potential as my kids did, but the achievement wasn't there. And I had to start to wonder, what's the difference? You see, for most of my life, I studied personal development, and I knew it was really important. And so throughout my teaching career, not only did I work to encourage my own children, but I was also very careful with the words I said to the children I taught. And I knew how important words were. You know that old sticks and stones will break my bones, words will never hurt me? That is not true. Words do hurt because you see the words get into your head and they start spinning around over and over again. And the more they spin around, the more they get ingrained into your paradigm and they cause enormous problems. So anyhow, as I knew I was getting to the point where I could retire from teaching and my kids were grown and out of the house and my youngest was headed to college, I thought, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because I am not a person to just sit around and wait as retirement goes by. I wanted to do something else. And I was driving, I can remember exactly where I was driving through this wooded area. And I had a CD on in my car and it was talking about your purpose and what do you want to do with your life and so on. And I remember hitting my steering wheel like, what is my purpose? And then I realized my purpose was to be an encourager of others, to help them realize their own potential. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? Well, it's funny the way things work out in your life because it was about that time that I stumbled upon Bob Proctor. In fact, it was probably maybe a month or two after that moment when I was driving my car through that area. And I had never heard of, well, I did. I had heard of Bob Proctor, but I'd never really studied him. I mean, I knew he was in the personal development area, but I'd never read any of his materials. I never took any of his classes or anything. But I stumbled upon him one day, and then it wasn't too long after that, maybe a couple months, and I got an invitation to be a consultant with him. I'm thinking, how did this even happen? I still don't know. I think it was just supposed to be. Sometimes I really do believe that nothing happens by accident. There's always a reason. So I kind of jumped on this call with one of his salespeople. And, one of the things they said to me, because when they told me how much it would cost to become a consultant, I about fell off my chair. And then I recovered. And one of the things that Arash said to me was, what's going to change in your life if you keep doing what you're doing now? Well, I knew not much of anything was going to change. And I also knew that, I'd been teaching for a long time and it was time to do something different. And so when Arash said that to me, I thought, you're right. What is going to change? I need to try something different. So I signed up to be a consultant, and that's a few months later. I actually met Bob Proctor, first consultant training, and then I got involved in some of his other programs, like his Mastermind and his Matrix, and I kind of went all out with Bob because I wanted to learn. You see, when I help clients, I want to be the very best. I want to be the one who can help guide them. And so I'm constantly studying his material, and studying other material, because when I work with a client, I'm invested with them. I want to make sure that they achieve what they want to achieve and that they keep moving forward. So that's really important to me. And so I invest in me just like I expect them to invest in themselves. Well, one of the things I realized pretty quickly was that, I had a really successful career as a teacher, and yet I lacked the confidence to make that switch from the business world or to the business world. And, I guess that was part of the reason why I wanted to be a trainer. So I signed up to be a trainer because I wanted to know what business people struggled with. And it was an eye-opening experience to me because what I discovered was the business people struggle with the same thing that teachers struggle with in children. The only difference is they're older. That's it. It's the same struggles, maybe a little different context, but it's the same struggles, which tells me our educational system is not solving the issues, they just pass them on. Because if we were solving problems, then business people would not be having the same issues teachers have. Does that make sense? So we're not really solving anything. So that kind of led me also, with that year's experience, it kind of led me to writing a program that I wanted to get into schools because I want to solve a problem. Obviously, if a child goes through 12 or 16 or more years of schooling and they fundamentally still have the same, let's just call them flaws in their personality or in their thinking, really, it's really in their paradigm, and it's never changed, then chances are it's going to be very difficult for them to ever change the rest of their life. And, it's like that quote I had of Bob's, which I think I actually got it from Earl Nightingale, about how people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely from birth to death. And when their heart stops beating, it's just a mere formality. I didn't want to be that way. And I don't think most people really want to be that way. But in reality, that is what happens to most people. They tiptoe through life. They don't take the chance, the risk. They don't go out and try something different because their paradigm is holding them back. It's keeping them from doing exactly what they'd like to do. And therefore, most people become very frustrated and stuck. And is there any wonder that we have the drugs problems that we do? We have the alcohol problems. We have the suicide. All those issues that you see in our country, I believe, all go back to the fact that people are frustrated. When you're achieving and you're moving forward in life and things are just going really well, you have those goals. You're going after something. And you're focused on that. You see, to go after a goal and to go after something that you really, really want requires focus. And you have to put blinders on. And you don't even, waver off that path of what you want. So anyhow, I went through all that, and my dream is to help others. Whether it's helping business people, been very successful at helping business people achieve what they want and help them move ahead and try to overcome those paradigms and the things that are not serving them well. Some paradigms are very good and they do serve us well, but there are many that do not serve us well. So it's a matter of finding which ones are not serving us well and moving on to change them. And I just love helping people do that. And of course, my next step, my next passion is to get into schools so that not necessarily myself, because I can't teach every child in the whole world, but to help those teachers to understand how they can help kids change their paradigms. We talked about discipline in the one video, and if you're disciplining a child, which is a little different than the discipline I was talking about, but there are ways to do that in a way that you're teaching and in a way that you're changing a paradigm. What I saw so often happen was, a child's behavior would improve for a limited amount of time, and then all of a sudden it would, revert right back to the way it was. Well, that's because we altered something and impress something on that child for a limited time, but we never changed the paradigm. We never touched that paradigm because they went right back to where they were. You see, and that's the frustrating part. And that's what people do all the time. Now, I've asked you, um, you know, why haven't I heard from you? Why have you gone through this whole series and never picked up a phone to call me or schedule an appointment on my appointment scheduler? Well, I know why. Because you're probably just like I was. You see, before I met Bob Proctor, I had listened to a bunch of personal development videos, and various ones would say, if you would like to talk to one of our coaches, give us a call. And you know what I thought? That's going to cost a lot of money. And so I didn't call. I was involved in some other things other than teaching, some business things, and I really desperately needed to have a coach, and I needed to have a consultant that I could work with and to help me to figure out. And I didn't do it because I knew it would cost me money. And you know what? I lost years that I could have been moving ahead. When I look back and think the opportunity I missed, because I had the opportunity to get some really good help and I didn't do it. And at the time I thought I was saving money. You know what? Every year that went by that I didn't take the opportunity to work with somebody, a consultant or a coach that knew what they were doing, it cost me. It cost me a lot. Don't let that happen to you. It doesn't cost you anything to pick up the phone or to schedule an appointment with me. I may not be able to help you. I may say, what you're asking for, I don't know how to do and I can't do it. Now, the odds of that happening are pretty slim because most people I can help, but I can't help everybody. Um, I may not feel like I can, work within your parameters. So, it doesn't hurt to give a call. I might be able to refer you to somebody who can help you. I may not be the right person for you, the right fit. So, at least schedule an appointment. It costs nothing, no strings attached. You may have a business that you want me to come in and work with your team. I love doing that. I love working with business teams and seeing how they mesh together when they start to understand their personalities and they start to understand how they have to look at other perspectives, and how they have to start using their imaginations and start using all the intellectual faculties that we're not taught how to use, and working with them to gel together so that they can move forward. So there's lots of opportunities. You may have a seminar, a convention coming up, and you may need a speaker. Guarantee you, I will give you an awesome presentation. And we can pick various topics, because having that training background, I have so much material that I could use and tie in. We can talk about the common denominator of success. We can talk about leadership. We can talk about personalities, the disc theory, whatever it is you want. And those skills, I've done a lot of that material. So, the possibilities are endless. Let's just have that conversation and see how I can best help you. And through helping you, my effort is always to get you the results that you want. So, what are you waiting for? This is Patricia Stepler with Your Dream Power. Now it's your move.